y'all, welcome to That Tennessee Feeling. I hope everybody's having a great week. I know that it's been a busy week for me, but hopefully you guys are still hanging in there. It's almost Easter. We're past spring break, which means we are almost to the end of school. Speaking of that, my heart goes out to everybody in Nashville. The Covenant shooting, that was just awful, and I feel for all those families. I can't imagine what they're going through, and I grew up in that area, so it's a little closer to home for me, and I really, really do hope that we can figure this stuff out quickly. All right, guys, thanks for listening to my last podcast. I had a special guest on for part 1, and today we're going to have part 2. So say hello.
Hello.
All right, welcome back. We are going to talk about, last time we talked about you went to college. You went to Tennessee Tech. You graduated. So what happened? You obviously stayed in Tennessee. What was Tennessee like after you graduated? Like, what was had anything changed from the time you started school till after you graduated? Like, what was going on in Tennessee?
Well, a lot of things were the same.
Okay.
Of course, it didn't change, but for me personally, when you leave college, it's like a big revelation. You have to work.
You have responsibilities now.
Yes, there was no choice. So stayed at home, my parents, and got a job just across the line in North Georgia because they were really in need of teachers. And so my first year was teaching was in North Georgia. Of course, I lived it was easy to get to it. It's just across the state line, and Chattanooga is right on the line. So it wasn't that I had to drive a long ways. And it was quite an experience because my first year, they had a time for movies that they showed for all the third graders, and the other 2 third grade teachers were quite a bit older than I was. In fact, I thought they were probably ready for retirement, but I was just 23 and I was out to change the world by teaching. But they came to me and said, we're having a movie for the third grade to see, and you took the place of the lady that she was the only one that knew how to operate the movie machine.
Wow.
So I said, give me 5 minutes and I'll see what I can do. And I was able to pull that off and get it running. It was one of those on the reel.
Oh, it was an old projector?
Yes, a very old projector.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, that was one of the things that I faced. But I loved it, loved every minute of it, and had some great kids. But in the meantime, I started dating a guy that was really, we were friends for a long time. We went to the same church and in the youth group, and so we decided to get married. And that brought in a whole new part of my life. And
Did you open your candy?
I'm not.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. It's already crinkling. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No way. No,
go ahead.
Okay. Well, my husband and I were able to have children, so we adopted a little boy who was just 5 days old.
What adoption agency did you use since it was in Tennessee? What adoption agency? Do you remember?
Oh, it was Family Services.
Oh, okay. It's like it was through the state.
It was
okay.
It was, an agency and they match your child with your own, as close to your own self as possible. So that was we got it as a baby, and so I quit teaching. I took off teaching to raise my son, and we found out fairly early that he suffered from cerebral palsy, but that didn't keep me from trying to teach him things. He was very smart. Can read. And
sorry guys, you're gonna hear my cat sniffing. Okay, that's the microphone. Did you like that? No, you didn't like that. Can she get back to the interview? Thank you. So you took off from teaching to raise him.
I did.
Okay.
I spent 5 years not teaching anybody but my son, and he learned so many things. As you might know, being the child of a
a teacher's child is, you don't get a moment of not doing anything. Now talk about some of the groups that you used to help teach him. Like we were involved with the church and then patterning.
Our cerebral palsy center.
That's it.
That was just very close to where I live. Because had a new idea. They made a patterning center just for my son and whoever else had children to bring.
Yeah. It's open.
It was.
It's open. You can eat it.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it was a friend that I had known for a long time, and she was very influential in working with the Cerebral Palsy Association there. So she
is it the
talked
one
them
that
into buying. Very wealthy.
Is it who I know?
Her name was Gail.
Okay.
I won't say her last name.
Yeah, don't say the last names.
She still lives in Chattanooga.
Okay.
And she has been a part of a lot of charities and things that go on in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
So there's, it was not really nice of her to do that. So it's was used for children to be patterned. You pattern them in the ways that the brain is supposed to work.
It rewires them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
So
yeah.
That's right.
Did now what other groups did you use did you have any other groups that helped, or
people came from all over to help be pattern Stephen. There were church groups from at least 3 or 4 that brought. It took 5 people to pattern him, and he was patterned twice a day. So we had to come up with, if it was one day that you came, you could have came in the morning or in the afternoon.
I gotcha.
And he never did like his treatments, but they really made a good.
I feel like that's close to physical therapy. If you're in physical therapy, you think your therapist is a sadist because they like pain. I think it's the same kind of concept. Yeah.
Anyway, this child, because I learned so much from him about life, priorities, compassion, that I chose this route to go. I went back to get certified in special ed and to concentrate, which this brought me, since I was a parent of a handicapped child, and I knew what it was like to be a parent, and I knew what it was like for this handicapped person to be cared for. I knew all of the ramifications of all that. So that not only did I get certified to teach as a resource teacher in the public schools, I was also involved a lot in personal at my church. I started several classes, Sunday school classes for special adults, and I even was asked to write the literature for that they use for Sunday morning's church. So because of this child, the direction of my life has always been in that way, with disabled children and their parents and families. And I also worked for the state in special ed,
Yeah.
and was able to help parents get their child is supposed to. You can't, from the time the child is 18, unless they have someone who has, it starts with a C. Conservatorship.
Yep.
Then that person can do anything they want to, and you can't make them.
Yeah.
So we worked a lot with getting conservatorship for parents so that they could still continue to care for their children.
Now what? Okay, so you had Stephen when you were in Chattanooga, and then you stayed in Chattanooga, and what brought you to Nashville? Because obviously I grew up in Nashville, so at some point you got to Nashville. So let's talk about how you got to Nashville and how Chattanooga and Nashville were different.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
So how did you get to Nashville?
Well,
I mean, I know this answer, but I need you to tell me this answer.
Well, okay. I read in the paper about this center that was helping children be patterned, and so I got a little ahead of myself talking about patterning, but up to this point, about 18 months, there was no patterning. It was after I went to Nashville and had the appointment, and with the director of the center, whose name happened to be Don Griffith.
Yep.
And I would come every 3 months, and he would change the program that worked on it, and that's when we started the patterning. And
that was the
patterning
two-day thing.
But he was in. I went from Chattanooga to Nashville every 3 months and got a change. So finally, by that time, while while we were doing the program, it was unfortunate, but my husband and I got a divorce.
No, I don't think it was unfortunate. He sounded like a wonderfully horrible man.
Well, so you have to be, I guess, called to take care of a handicapped child.
And he was not.
And he was a Vietnam veteran and had some issues of his own. So anyway, we were divorced, and I still had to bring Steve into Nashville, and finally Don Griffith said, if he came to Chattanooga, would I go out with him? And I'm thinking,
look at my dad asking you out on a date.
Yes, he did. And I thought, what am I going to do with Steve? And that was a little rough. I got it. My family chipped in and
Gan watched him.
Volunteered, but all two sisters and mother both. Because neither of them could feed him, so I had to come feed him. But anyway, it wasn't love at first sight apparently, because he didn't ask me out again for almost a year.
Well, look at Dad being an idiot.
We were both busy doing our thing, and so finally we did start dating more steadily, and he was with me when Stephen passed away. We had been dating a few years, so he was able to help in a lot of ways, and it was interesting because of what his expertise were too. He could,
because Dad was actually one of the, I wouldn't say foremost, but I would say he was up there as far as being able to pattern and being in that.
He understood developmentally.
Right.
Children go through different stages, so he was a developmentalist. He would go back and train the brain, the good part of the brain, to take over for the part that was injured.
Right. He had all those fun degrees. I used to just play with his model of his brain. You remember the model of the brain that he had that it was like a puzzle. It was a puzzle when you're 4. All right, so
We even misplaced that brain every now and then too. Couldn't
Yeah,
find
we did a lot. So
it. So we were married.
you got married in Chattanooga, but you were going to live in Nashville.
Nashville.
All right. So let's talk about that transition.
Well, it was, of course, a lot more people in Nashville,
Okay.
but I found that they have a lot of communities that are on the outskirts of Nashville,
Correct.
and those would remind me of Chattanooga.
Okay. Like, can you think of one specifically?
Donaldson was
Okay.
where we lived first, and it was a little, we found a church there, and eventually joined it.
Was that the first one? That's the one I didn't go to.
The first one was a little one near the apartments that we lived
Okay.
in, and it was,
You can say the name of it if you want. Okay.
it was been a long time ago.
It wasn't,
anyway,
but it wasn't Saturn Drive.
yes,
Oh, it was Saturn Drive. Okay.
Yes, it was.
All right, but you found your community when you moved there.
That's why we could get. I always was happier when I was connected with the church and support from fellow Christians. So
And now you go to the tiniest church known to man. Okay, we'll get there. Okay, so you had moved to Nashville. What were you doing for job? Had you been certified yet in special ed?
I had not.
Okay.
And I was driving to Murfreesboro to MTSU
Ooh,
at
go
night.
Raiders!
to
Blue
finish
Raiders!
And so I just got a little part-time job at Penny's while I was trying to get through my
School.
Then I went to work there at the center
Okay.
teaching the kids. They had a school there.
Mhm.
And actually, while I was teaching, I did my practicum in my own classroom.
Okay, so you got your own certification through your own teaching. Nice. Okay.
So when
All right.
I was observed by the teacher from MTSU, and
Yeah.
she came several times to watch.
Is
how
she?
did
I
in
wonder
the
if she's.
classroom.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, I wonder if she's still there. She's probably retired by now. She's the one that knew Dad really well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Because she
Well,
knew.
it's been a long time.
She knew me walking around campus.
He was getting him a degree too.
Oh, that's right. Y'all were both there
He
for
was
your
getting a
masters.
master's.
Yeah.
So I got certified and got a master's degree from the
MTSU.
the school, MTSU.
Right. So.
And then it was time to start looking for a job.
Okay.
And I found one at Tennessee Preparatory School.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
No, it doesn't. But at the time, they were for kids that were placed there by the judge in their counties. And most of them were truant, not showing up. Nobody cared if they went to school or not.
So they were placed there by the state.
They were placed there, and they lived on campus.
Yeah.
Had a big indoor swimming pool. It was
Oh, I remember that.
really nice.
Yeah. I forgot about
So,
that. That school was actually really nice for what it was. Like, it really was nice for what it was.
It was real pretty. It had
And it was in Nashville. I remember it was towards.
Yeah, it was.
Was it towards Lebanon Pike? Yeah.
No, it
Where was
wasn't
it?
Lebanon, but I can't remember.
Was
the
it Elm
name.
Hill? I want to say
It
it was
was
over that
in
way.
the area
Yeah.
of Elm Hill. But
Yeah.
it
I can't remember exactly, but I thought it was over by Elm Hill.
Yeah, maybe I'll.
I don't know why I was thinking in Lebanon. So you were teaching at TPS.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You made some good friends. And you were still living in Nashville. Did you ever miss Chattanooga at that point?
Yes, and I went back because my dad was ill, and so I would go back and see him as often as I could.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't. He had two not fully grown daughters, but they were teenagers and older, and
They were
tried
living-
to see them as often as I could.
Were they
too.
living in East Tennessee at that point?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm with you.
So that we didn't have children of our own, but we had an opportunity to adopt a little girl.
You don't say.
And so, yeah, you know the story about...
I know this story really well. You might even say it's personal.
Okay.
Yeah. So along came me,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still living in Nashville, and you're still working at TPS.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you this, since you got to experience this as well as I did. How do you feel about the Nashville school system?
Well, I can't. The city schools were different from the county schools.
Right.
I can tell you the county schools were supposed to be better schools.
The Davidson County.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what? That's what, okay. What's county school?
Metro, I think, finally combined all the.
I think they are all one thing now.
They're all
but
one
when I was
system.
little, there was like Ezel Harding and city schools and things like that, and then there was schools like what I was going to go to, like McGavick and stuff. Yeah, I remember that.
I think McGavick was a high school that was some kind of experiment. It was huge, and Becky, Don's oldest daughter.
I had friends that still. I mean, I know a couple people that graduated there, even that were my age, that some liked it and some hated it.
Yeah.
It's still a huge high school. All right. So, how do you feel about? So, we lived in Nashville. You had lived there a while by the time I was born. How did you feel about as Nashville was changing? Because Nashville changed a lot, even when I was growing up, obviously. And compared to what it is now, it's unrecognizable. So how did you feel about Nashville as it was changing back in like the 80s and 90s? Without telling my age or your age.
Well, it's always been a focus on music. You could go anywhere in Nashville to a restaurant or whatever and hear a top A number one musician,
country,
and singer, band.
Yep.
I thought that was neat, but I watched it change a bit.
How did it change?
Country music changed, and so it changed to a little more pop music instead of.
It's not so much country anymore.
So. But I remember being in the Nashville city and we were at a public restaurant. I probably Cracker Barrel, but I remember going into the restroom and one of the ladies, a lady that was coming from out of town, she said, "They even have country music in the bathroom." And I thought, you are so right. This is country music.
Just wait until you go to somewhere else, because you'll hear it again.
Right.
You're not going to escape it if you're anywhere near Nashville.
So it changed a bit in Chattanooga what the concern was, or a big popular thing to do. Popular. Was not country music. We had really some kind of cultural things going in Chattanooga that like plays. We always went to the community plays.
The theater.
Mm-hmm. And did that even when we moved to Mount Juliet. I went with.
Oh yeah, you and
Rosemary.
Yeah. Well, obviously we moved out of Nashville to Mount Juliet. Other than school, and don't you dare say the name of the school I went to.
Okay.
What was your reasoning for wanting to get out of Davidson County?
Well, we were looking for a school closer to home that you wouldn't have to ride the bus to school.
Yeah, because I would have ended up in East Nashville.
Thing. And then another thing is it was becoming so much traffic and crowded that we thought it was wise to move to this small suburb.
Right, small.
just 2 lanes.
All right.
Back
When
and
we
forth.
moved to Mount Juliet, let's tell about it. You had a Cracker Barrel and a Waffle House. You had an Arby's. I remember when they put in the McDonald's. They had a Captain D's, and that was it. And then if you went down the 2-lane road a little bit, you'd find the Dollar General and I don't even remember the name of that. It wasn't, because there was no Kroger's yet. It's Piggly Wiggly. There was a Piggly Wiggly. That's what it was. They had a Piggly Wiggly there. And the biggest thing to do in Mount Juliet was that there was a skate center towards Lebanon Road. And you're talking, that's it. Now, there's anything and everything. There's 2 Publixes. There's 2 Kroger. There's a Walmart. There's
a shopping center.
Yeah.
Brought in a lot of people.
Yeah. And then when they did liquor by the drink, some of the restaurants changed. And then I remember when Providence was a freaking field.
There was no Walmart there for a while.
There wasn't.
The
nearest one was Hermitage.
So it changed a lot, and that's the way Nashville is. It's moving out into the suburbs all the time. They're trying to renovate downtown.
I mean, they were trying to renovate downtown when the flood
Chattanooga
happened.
is too.
Chattanooga is, and parts of Chattanooga are nice now. Parts of Chattanooga are not nice now. Like right around the aquarium, that's a nice area. Puckett's. There's still a Sticky Fingers down there. The Lookout Stadium is over there now. The river area is really nice. But other than I think it's Chestnut, Market, and Broad Street maybe, parts of downtown aren't that nice still. You know? It's kind of sad because parts of it are really, really, really nice. And other parts you're a little bit leery about walking even during the daytime. But also, now I remember when Gann lived in Chattanooga, and she lived in East Brainerd, right? That's Brainerd?
Just Brainerd.
Brainerd, okay. And it was not bad. No. But now it's a little bit run down. You know?
It's a lot run down.
It is a lot run down. And so it feels like parts of Chattanooga are going in the right direction and other parts of Chattanooga are going in the wrong direction. And I mean, I'm sure that parts of Nashville are the same way. I'm sure of it. But I mean, just even from what I've seen growing up there, I wouldn't want to go back to Nashville. You couldn't make me. It's not the Nashville I grew up in. It's not the Nashville I liked. I mean, after it flooded, yeah, it changed a little bit, but it came back for a while. So did Opry Mills. Although, I miss Opryland.
I do too.
I miss Opryland.
That was one of the fun things to do.
Yeah, I miss Opryland, and I miss going out to Percy Priest Lake.
Well, we have Dollywood here in Maryville, and
okay, let's chat about Dollywood. No, actually, Dollywood's probably really nice. I haven't been since I was 4, so I'm sure it's changed since I've been. But I mean, I guess on the whole, you could probably say, what do you think the biggest change that Nashville or Chattanooga or Tennessee has gone through in the time you've been alive? What are some of the major changes that you've seen?
Well, I've seen that with the influences of all the new stuff, the technology and all has changed the way we all do everything. And we used to walk when I was young. We walked to church, we walked to school. We didn't have a car until probably 9 years old.
Yeah.
And no TV until about that time. So technology has made us connect with the neighbors and one another, and with the automobiles and just things like that. Makes your life, your everyday life different.
Yeah.
We probably stay in front of TV more, on our phones more now.
I can say I'd stay in front of a phone. I do not stay in front of a TV. I mean, especially if I go to work, I don't want to sit and watch TV.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
but
good. A lot of people do.
Oh, I
Spend
know.
a lot of time.
I agree with you about the phone,
Also,
though.
they've become more conscious of downtown. The downtown of both cities had evolved into something that you wouldn't want a part of, and now they're working to
They're gentrifying it.
rehabilitate the areas. And
I mean, I remember when Nashville had, downtown was like Broadway, 2nd Avenue, maybe 1st, 5th Avenue. You might, if there was a game, you'd go to the stadium. Tootsie's, Orchid Lounge, Paradise Park, the Trailer Park. They had a really cool dueling piano bar called the Big Bang. And of course, the Spaghetti Factory that's been there for years, and I hope they rebuild it soon. And Demos. Remember Demos? Mm-hmm. I remember Demos.
You would see people coming to Nashville and walking the streets and taking in all the little shops and
Ernest Tubb Record Shop and the Opera and the Ryman, and
so they're working on.
And now it's more touristy, much more touristy.
Yeah,
I know.
It's homey.
It's not homey at all. It's not. It feels horrible, actually. I will say that there are still some cool spots like Loveless Cafe outside of Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't get the fried chicken.
And the library in Nashville is one of the nicest.
Oh yeah, the one downtown.
So it's great. They do have several homeless people who come in and visit the library.
That's everywhere.
That's everywhere.
That's absolutely everywhere. You should have seen the library in LA. Oh gosh, they were sleeping on tables. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Well, that wasn't the case in Nashville.
Be glad.
They'd sit and stare at a computer for hours just to be inside.
Yeah.
Out of the weather.
And see, I know that Nashville and Chattanooga, because we saw it last time we went to Chattanooga, that there was a lot of homeless down towards the river area. That's something I think most all cities are trying to figure out how to combat.
Right.
I know it's really bad in Nashville. I know it's gotten worse. From friends.
It seems in both cities that they've kept building up without getting the streets like
the infrastructure.
Yes, they have designed all these wonderful things to have in the city, but to get there,
you can't get there.
You're in a ton of traffic
trying to find parking. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
No, Nashville was always crap. I'm not going to lie to you. Nashville was always a little bit of crap, especially if you were trying to get from 40 to 65 and get on 440 that is always inevitably under construction. And dear Lord, if you wanted to get on Briley Parkway, good luck. Especially, hopefully you went the right way the first time. So,
yeah, some people won't even go through Nashville. They'll go around it to avoid going down through downtown.
I'd be one of them now.
You would?
It was horrible. And that was the last time I actually drove through. Like we stayed around the airport last time we went to Loveless and stuff like that, and that was a little about a year and a half ago. But no, the last time I had to drive into Nashville for you, remember, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, and no, this was not even at a busy time of the day, and it was not moving.
Mm-hmm.
So, no. Thank you, no. I don't think I want to do Nashville for a very long time. Unless they're playing the Eagles. Woo, go Philly. Fine. I will brave it and go see a game. But that's it. There is no exception to me wanting to go to downtown.
I want to say one thing.
Go ahead. You still got time.
I have been to every state in the United States. I've been to several countries outside the United States. I just want to say that I feel like I'm home in Tennessee.
And that's fun. I think that's great.
I know that there's wonderful things in each place that I've visited.
Uh-huh.
But there's something about, and I'm sure it's because I grew up here.
No.
There's something about this.
It don't mean anything.
that Tennessee is home.
Okay, well, what? Give me the top 3 things that make you feel like home when you're in Tennessee. Top 3 things.
The people.
Okay, what about the people?
The people, on an average, are friendly
Okay.
and are just good people.
I will say that
would like to do for good.
depending on the area of Tennessee you're in, the people are different. All right, because y'all East Tennesseans are a lot nosier than Middle Tennesseans, and Middle Tennesseans don't keep to themselves as much as West Tennesseans. You know what I mean? It really depends on where you are in Tennessee as to how you react.
But I said on the average.
And on the average, they are friendlier.
Yeah.
But y'all East Tennesseans are nosy. Dear Lord, y'all nosy. Yes, ma'am. Now, what's your second favorite thing?
Second favorite thing is it's not hard to find a church to get involved in. There's one on every corner, just
across from each other.
Any kind of what you would want to,
you would want to worship. Do you know why they all want to be named First, like First Baptist? Why are they all first? I want to go to the Fourth Baptist.
Well, go ahead.
I do. I can't find one.
Well, I don't really know the answer to that.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, it's always First Baptist.
First Baptist. And I've been the First Baptist, Mount Juliet.
Yep.
And then the First Baptist, Nashville.
Donaldson.
And where else is First Baptist?
First Baptist Donaldson.
Donaldson.
Yeah, where you had your ministry.
That's true.
No, you're not wrong. There is not a shortage of churches here.
So
there's not.
That is a plus to me.
Okay. What's your third reason?
The third reason is I'm used to it.
Okay.
I've lived
so it's
a
comfort
time.
zone. Yeah.
It's a comfort zone.
Okay.
Plus, I know maybe a lot of the resources that I've used day in and day out. So it's just.
What do you think is? Give me some of the resources that you like that you can find here in Tennessee?
Well, there's always a lot for seniors.
Okay.
There's a lot of things they do for seniors, and
okay.
I think that's good. There's always they're doing something for the handicapped. They have services for them. There's unfortunately there's homeless, but everywhere you go, you see somebody that's trying to help them.
Yeah.
And we donate a lot of things to our church to help them manage.
We just don't donate to Carm.
So.
Sorry, had to. Okay, so you feel that Tennessee has a lot of resources for a lot of people.
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel about the direction Tennessee is currently heading in the future?
Well, I am a firm believer in showing up at the polls.
Okay.
That's my right.
Yes, absolutely. As an American citizen, that is your absolute right to be able to vote on who you want. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And as long as we're free to do that,
okay,
then we at least have a say, and we may not get our will done every time. But
I hope we don't this time. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well,
I hope that they don't. They don't do the drag queen ban. I hope they don't. I think that the governor is being an ass, but that's just me. And I don't talk a lot of politics, so there's your moment.
That's something that you are free to do, and free to vote, and free to state your opinion. And that's what's wonderful about this country. When they start silencing us, then we better watch out.
Now remember, a drag queen ban is an expression of freedom, which is covered by the Constitution. So they're trying to silence drag queens, and that's freedom of speech. Think about that. Think about that. Just because you don't like what they have to say doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to say it. Thank you, MTSU. My degree right there. But I mean,
I
seriously.
always have to remember that my freedom stops where yours starts.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that.
And yours stops where mine stops.
Absolutely. But you also can't tread on other people.
So,
You know?
as long as we can keep that in this country, we've got hope for better things that are better. But it's like in the school system for years that I taught.
Yeah.
If something was, they get new people in charge, administrative.
Right. Yeah.
And they would not look at the things that worked for years.
No, they just want to change them all.
And we want to change and do something different, and it was crazy.
Why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
For years, that it's been proven that fewer students per classroom was great because everybody's learning.
Yeah, it gave more time to each student.
What happened? Let's do team teaching and put 30 and 30 over here of students, elementary students, and try to team teach back and forth and all that space with the.
That does not work.
So
no wonder kids in Tennessee can't read.
Same thing with government.
Yeah.
They think something that's better. They don't think about what's working.
Yeah.
And what's good. So, and they usually never ask the people that's using it.
Correct.
What they think.
That's at any job. We're going to implement something, but we don't actually work what you do, but we think it's going to work. Mm-hmm. But you aren't doing it, so you don't know. No, I understand that. Yeah. So what is your hope for Tennessee? What is your hope for it?
I hope that the people in Tennessee will keep their heads on straight when they're voting. Okay, fair. All right. And to realize how important it is to actually vote and have some impact on what our administrators would tell us to do that we have to do. That's a good hope. Now, fun part. I'm going to ask you your favorite things in Tennessee, and you just get to tell me. So what's your absolute favorite restaurant in Tennessee? Oh my goodness, I like to eat, so it's I know. What's your favorite? It'll be hard to. All right, let's make it easy. What's your favorite restaurant in Chattanooga? I like that Puckett's. Puckett's is good. All right, what's your favorite restaurant in Nashville? I liked Cheddar's quite a bit. Okay, really? That was close to where we ate. Okay, come on now. You could eat anything. I mean, the menu is varied. So no local place, just Cheddar's? No local? Here in Maryville? Yeah, sure. Where's your favorite restaurant here in Maryville? Oh, I like to go to O'Charlie's. Okay. And I enjoyed Aubrey's. Aubrey's was good, yeah. So yeah. Those two. Yeah. All right. Where's your favorite place to visit in Tennessee? Well, I have while I was living in Nashville, we had a boat and we went to Percy Priest Lake. Yep. And water skied and rode the boat a lot. A lot. Many times. Yep. So one of my favorite things was going to the lake. Yeah. And meeting other people and having in Nashville, very close to. I mean, the lake is close to like Donaldson. Oh yeah. You go right past it or right over it on I-40. So it's not that far from where you're living. You can go, and they had lots of picnic areas. Yep. I guess that is that was a peaceful
Okay.
activity that I enjoy.
All right.
Now I enjoy eating out.
Okay. Yep.
And
Now, if somebody was going to visit Tennessee for the first time, where would you tell them to visit? What do they need to see in this state?
go to Graceland and
All right.
see.
All right. No,
see
that's
my idols.
there. You go. That's fine. So you think Graceland? Anywhere else? I was going to ask you what your favorite Tennessee singer is, but you just answered that too.
Yes, you know that.
All right.
I'm crazy about Elvis. I think that they enjoy going downtown Nashville and seeing the Capitol and the that area that has the
Bicentennial Mall.
Bicentennial Mall.
Okay.
So you need to go just check that
Yeah,
out and see
all right.
how nice that is.
Nothing in East Tennessee?
East Tennessee has Dollywood, and it has what's that down that's with the that's close by in Oak Ridge.
Watts Bar?
It was that one, but this is another one that's
I don't know.
can't think of the name.
I don't know the name of that one.
That is pretty nice to see. It's really
Okay.
beautiful.
All right.
This area.
Yep. Come on, you can't. The Smokies, you're literally living in the Smoky Mountains. You don't think the Smoky Mountains are pretty nice?
Oh yes, I think.
You think they need to drive the Dragon Tail?
No, I don't recommend that. Not
right.
if I'm on it.
Okay.
Please, I don't want anybody else on it.
Okay.
Anyway, there's things like that, and I think you'd like the Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and all of the shows. And
I think that they should go to Jonesboro. I think that's an underrated.
Jonesboro
is so much
the
fun.
First capital of Tennessee was Jonesboro.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And it's
Actually, I did an episode on Jonesboro.
they also have been having storytelling.
Yeah, they have
Weekend.
storytelling festivals. Yeah, and then Jonesboro days towards 4th of July. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those,
Yep, that's
those
a thing.
are all fun.
All right. Well, we got to wrap it up because I only get
Okay.
an hour to record, and we're almost there. So, is there any parting words you want to tell? Like, do you encourage people to move here? Yes or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
We don't have a state tax,
Right.
and that's one nice thing about it.
Correct.
But you will meet so many nice people, good people, and your neighbors will be maybe super interested in you, but they care about how you are, and will be. I think you will enjoy it.
Watch the religious nuts. If you move here, just watch them. I mean that in the nicest way too.
I don't think we have any.
Not in Maryville. Not in Maryville, you don't yet.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
Well, you're welcome. You've had me go back and
Reminisce
some
a couple things. Yeah, it was fun. So thank you for doing that. And then to everybody else, guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks with a new episode. Don't forget to stay country.